You're listening to Spanners on BBC Radio Cambridgeshire, and today I'm talking to the man who made this.
In the shed with the best of the net.
Spanners ready.
That's right, I bring you the best of the county's online content creators, and here's one of the very best: YouTuber, musician and podcaster, Liam Taylor. Hello, Liam.
Hey, Spanners, how's it going?
It's going well, Liam Taylor. I've had to call you at 10 o'clock in the morning, for which I apologise. Is this the earliest a musician's ever woken up?
Woken up? No. Woken up and had a reasonable conversation about anything other than how much I need coffee or trousers. You know, this is the earliest I can be reasonable, I think.
I'm glad that you are wearing trousers, because we've now, we've met in your shed, and in your shed you're a little more comfortable and you don't wear socks or shoes. It's quite alarming, especially from a man of your size.
If you can find shoes and socks that fit me in a comfortable way, I will wear them. I would love to. I will sleep in those if you can find them, but you will not, because they're huge.
You can find more details about that on your podcast, The Conversation Hat, of which you were kind enough to invite me on, Liam.
I mean, it's very similar to the reason that you have me on your show. You know this other person can talk. You know they're reasonably sensible. You know they're going to make a lot of interesting points. I was like, yeah, I want you on my podcast as well. Absolutely.
That's the first time, though, I've done a podcast or any kind of broadcast where I haven't been the host or the interviewer. So very weird. And I now have some sympathy for when people throw stupid questions at you and you're forced to talk about yourself. It's very strange when someone goes, hey, you know those things you do, why do you do them? And you go, I guess just I want people to pay attention to me. No, that's not a good answer. Start again. Please, can you edit that?
Yeah, that's exactly the situation I found myself in coming on your show here, actually. Like, I've done the Conversation That podcast for, I think, coming up to 3 years now, and we always get a guest in from the creative industries to talk about whatever it is they do, and then we just tangentially ramble about whatever questions we pull out of a hat. So I've always done those kind of interviews. So I've always been in your position trying to get interesting facts out of this person that makes money doing that or something really cool.
It was a fun chat. Go and find Conversation Hat by searching Conversation Hat on the internet, or you can just go to @SpannersBBC or Spanners Ready on Facebook, and all the links will be there. But we're not going to talk about fun improvisation chatting. We're going to talk this week about how to write a hit song. Is that what we're doing? Are we writing a song for the masses? The next Chumbawamba, the next Aqua Barbie Girl? That's what we're going for.
Are these your contemporary music references?
Yes, I may be a little bit out of the loop. I'm in the parent zone now where my 8-year-old and 6-year-old kind of telling me what's cool, but it's not going in.
Fair enough. I mean, it's writing hit music and writing the kind of music I do are two very different things. I feel like I could have a reasonable crack at writing a hit tune, but like the reality is that kind of side of the music industry isn't sustainable for the actual artists, which is a bit sad. So the way that I make money from music is advertising, jingles, that kind of thing. So a lot of what I do, go on.
A lot of what you do is selling out, is what I was going to say. Yeah.
100%. If by selling out you mean paying rent, yeah, absolutely. I'm a sellout, completely.
Do you ever get people saying you should do this work, it'll be really good exposure, and you're like, oh yeah, my rent is 800 exposures this month?
Oh yeah, all the time. I don't immediately dismiss things that promise to pay me in however much exposure, not that you can measure it, but I'll usually say, okay, is this going to be a really fun project? Am I going to get a lot out of it? In terms of, I would enjoy writing it. It will further skills that I really want to hone. That thing, yeah, maybe I'll do it. And another point is, will it actually get me exposure? Like, measurably, this many people will watch it.
Or is it a lie?
Or is it just a massive lie? And then the third thing is, are you actually going to pay me? So if it's any two of those things, usually I will be up for it. But most of the time it has to be three of those things because I'm a busy boy these days.
And the thing is, you're an adult musician, and having watched my wife and her friends go from 20-somethings who are very principled, and it's all about the art, and actually, I'm just making music for me. It's not, if anyone listens, hey, fine. And I've seen that transition, though, in the last 15 years to, yeah, we're business people. We do want to make money. We're happy to turn up at a corporate gig or supply you the correct music that you need. And that ultimately is what makes you a good professional musician.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'd love to be in a position where I could say that people may or may not listen to my music. I'm going to make it anyway, but that's quite I'm just going to say that's a privileged standpoint to be on.
I was going to say that is why a lot of the musicians that you see in the charts are somebody's daughter, somebody's niece. I mean, like Mabel, you look at Mabel, who is a very popular female artist at the moment, is Nina Cherry's niece. And more of these artists are in that privileged position where you can take away the pressure of earning money to try and have a moonshot career.
Totally, and that's why artists will tend to do 2 or 3 singles or a couple albums of basically fine hit single pop music, and then their later stuff goes weird because that's the stuff they want to do, and no one wants them to do it, but they've got enough money to justify the time spent on their own passion project. So if you find you like the earlier stuff of an artist, it's probably because you like manufactured pop.
I mean, we're looking at Kate Nash here, aren't we?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Who started off very commercial, and I do love. You're shaming me now. I do love her early work, her first album, all the very kind of Englishy first date night, everything's fine. I love all that. And then when she goes a bit punky, I'm like, oh, hang on, I didn't sign up for that when I boarded the Kate Nash train. Tell you what, Liam, we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna then talk later about how to make this commercial bit of music. But I've asked you this week to pick a song for us to go. You're listening to Spanners, and I'm still in my shed.
In the shed with the best of the net.
Spanners ready.
And I'm in the shed with professional musician and soundscaper Liam Taylor. Liam, have I properly thanked you for the bumpers you've put together for my little lunchtime show here?
I think you have, but you keep saying if you can thank me again, and I'm not going to stop you.
No, okay.
Right ahead.
So this is the kind of thing that you would produce professionally for people.
Yep.
I think we talked a little bit about the process of making jingles, and fair play to you. You are available to hire to do that kind of thing.
I am, 100% all the time.
But you have to create some song, some actual like start to finish, what we would recognize as a song for commercial purposes. Where do you start? Tune, lyrics, a hook?
I mean, it all starts with a conversation with the client, and a lot of the time I am the client. Whether it's for an internal project like sketch, conversation, app music, that kind of thing, or whether it's someone trying to sell off-brand cornflakes, you've got to have a conversation with them about what they want out of a piece of music.
Well, that just takes away the magic for me.
Yeah.
You always get that story, don't you, where they say, Jeffrey was just strumming away, playing a few tunes. I walked in and I heard it, and I said to him, that's a number one. Yeah,
you hear that story about Stairway to Heaven quite a lot by Led Zeppelin. I think that song was actually just filler. They needed a really long song to make it 35 minutes to be an actual album. That's so funny. They're just like, how long can I drag out these 4 chords? It turns out 7 minutes.
That's amazing. All right, then let's go into this process. So you've got the requirements from somebody. Yep. Let's say it's something basic like, I need a song in the interval of my little TV piece. And it's just got to be, all I really want from you, Liam, is it's got to be listenable to, a little bit catchy, and not distract.
Fantastic. So if they have, often if it's for an advert, they may have temp tracks, so pieces of music that they've put in to kind of place hold the advert. So I'll work out what these are. I'll make a little playlist of similar music, and I'll just listen to that for a couple of days and not even think about writing it. So the first step is not doing anything, which I am a big proponent of.
Yeah, that is like the musician's number one skill, is just lazing around in their shed shoelessly eating off-brand cornflakes. I don't want you to feel targeted by that.
No, that was just really specific by complete coincidence. So once you've got the playlist down, you kind of osmosis, you kind of ingest these bits of music that would work, but the company can't afford for fair enough reasons. So once you have all of that, then you start to think about the keywords that they want to try and sell their brand with. So if it's cornflakes, it could be super crunchy, it could be super orange, it could be amazing with milk. And you just sort of write these down and you come up with one of these that is either rhythmically pleasing or there's kind of like an innate melody in there. Then you just take that thing and you try to build music around that one very specific phrase.
Do you find yourself just humming that phrase? So cornflakes, not just for breakfast, also good if you haven't got much money for dinner.
Yeah.
And then
totally. Yeah, 100%. That's exactly it. Anything that's kind of slightly quirky like that, like I will probably go down the, hey, why not cornflakes for lunch type angle.
Have you tried it instead of crisps? And then you go, oh, wow, yeah, I'm there. That's my hook. Have you tried it instead of crisps? And then
I think we've done it. We've written a hit.
Do you reach automatically for the guitar, or do you have people? Do you go, no, this needs more of a soundscape?
It will vary massively project to project. What I usually find is that I'll get a very simple rhythm track and maybe a chord drone, so it doesn't really resemble music at that point, and I'll vocally record the line, and then based around the chord, I'll work out what notes of the scale that vocal line should be. And then I start layering in things like an actual chord progression, probably some kind of funky guitar because it's me, some kind of bass line and some kind of more rounded drum kit. And then the instrumentation will kind of develop according to the brand.
Liam, how do you know that it's good? I'm assuming the client has input and says yes, no. But sometimes, are you able to separate and go, that's not something I would like, that fits the job perfectly? Or do you ever just stand back and listen to something and go, oh, that's terrible. Liam, why have you wasted your life away in this shed producing music? Again, not a specific example.
I mean, the ultimate way to tell whether or not you've done a good job is how quickly you get paid for doing the job. And oftentimes I'll have people who happen to overhear, so people who are in the shed doing whatever other projects, they'll overhear something and say, that's really good. You need to sell that. And no, it's terrible. What are you on about?
So people turn to you and go, not that's a number one, but that's a commercially viable piece of music.
Which is the 29 equivalent of, hey, we need a Stairway to Heaven.
I hate that someone as obviously talented as you, Liam, has to pay bills. If only you were a trust fund kid that could just follow your art, Liam.
If only.
But you do some arty things. You do have passion projects. Stab Panda is a very interesting one that we're going to go into more depth on a future chat. But basically that is about underground musicians, undiscovered musicians. There's this whole layer under the pop stars you've heard of.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the whole point of Stab Panda is to try and give a platform and a voice to underground bands. And one of the ways that we do that, other than through reviews and interviews with these bands, is a series called Pro Tips. And Pro Tips is essentially what you don't get told about the music business when you're just getting into the music business, or when you're kind of trying to do it from an independent standpoint. And a lot of it is, here are some massively uncomfortable truths. Here are some things you don't want to hear. And I'm very sorry, but this is how it is.
I've seen your YouTube video from about 2 years ago where you kicked that off. And I want to do a similar one actually for podcasting. The things you don't want to hear, like you have to work really hard and do lots of practice and keep buying things from eBay. But Liam Taylor, Stabbed Panda, for new music, the Conversation Hat podcast featuring Spanners Ready off of the radio. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much, Spanners. Appreciate it.